Every morning begins roughly the same way for me. I wake up and I have breakfast, I have my morning coffee, I turn on the news, and somewhere along the way I will reach for my phone and check my emails and Facebook. Now, Facebook has this feature which attempts to prompt you to make a post for the day. And it does so by showing you a post that you made on that day, but in a previous year. And the idea is that you would make a similar post today, and by doing so show a change of life. So your post would have these two pictures, let's say, and it would say, that was then, and this is now, or before and after. And depending on what you're posting about, the change between post A and post B can be quite dramatic. It can show a huge change, a huge growth, or whatever it might be. Well, in our readings that we hear today, we hear about a huge, dramatic life change. And this is in the life of Saul, whom we come to know as St. Paul. And this change can be easily seen if you just read the first verse of the reading and the last verse of our reading. The first verse says, "Meanwhile, Saul was still breathing threats and murder against the Lord's disciples." Last verse, "Immediately he began to proclaim Jesus in the synagogue, saying he is the Son of God." That's a huge change. That's a massive change between verse A and verse B, showing that something must have happened in the middle. In between those two things, something dramatic must have taken place. And it did. Saul, on the road to Damascus, meets the risen Jesus. The risen Jesus comes to him and confronts him. And in this confrontation with the risen Jesus, Saul meets the Lord who changes lives. And we see this constantly through Scripture. We see this in Saul. We see this in Ananias, who is called to go and speak to somebody he never thought he would ever speak to. We see this in Peter in one of our other readings. Peter, this guy who denied Jesus 3 times, calling down curses upon himself and vehemently saying, "I do not know the man," is called to become the leader of this ragtag group of people called followers of the way. And all of these changes happen because people meet the risen Lord. Scripture tells the same story again and again and again. When people meet the risen Jesus, people meet the God who changes lives. And so the question is, how might Jesus want to change our lives? Like Saul, is there an action that we are called to kind of step away from, go in a new direction? Like Ananias, is there somebody that we are called to speak to or embrace? Somebody that we never thought we would ever do that for? Like Peter, is there a sin that we are called to give to Jesus, to allow to be forgiven in Jesus' love? You know, all of these people, their lives are changed because they meet their risen Jesus and because they open their lives to him. And when we open our lives to Jesus, the same change occurs in our lives. And yeah, it might mean a confrontation, and it might mean that we go through a little bit of a process. But on the other end is a life lived in grace and in the power of the living God. May we all embrace the change that Jesus wants to make in our lives. God bless you all.